Now this match is actually in the USS Arizona, and this is actually a pretty good example of how to bow tank in this ship. As a battleship, you're meant to take fire and stay alive. And the best way to do that is to make sure they can't shoot your broadside, and to do that you have to either bait them to shoot your armored belt or your bow. Luckily Arizona actually has a pretty good bow. And for this game I'm playing with Mr. Horse. He's in the Fuso currently. Now we have a New Mexico mirror match. We have a Normandy versus me. I kind of prefer the Arizona in this case. A Fuso mirror match and a Bayern. Fuso can be very dangerous because of all the guns it has, especially if you go broadside. Luckily Bayern has very large guns, and if it gets close it can do a lot of damage. And none of their ships aside from the New Mexico are really suited for brawling very much. They have a Leander, so we can't do the short straw on the cruisers, but... Actually, it isn't, but we just do the short straw on the cruisers. As for the destroyers, I kind of like our lineup just a little bit better. Only a little bit though, it's mostly even. So my plan for this is to go between the A and B points because most of our forces are located there. And also it keeps you away from these islands down here, so it's hard for things to sneak up and shoot you without being spotted by something else. So we're going to speed up a little bit as the forces distribute. Go. I go ahead and pop my spotter plane to try and get some shots on that Omaha. Long distance, but it might work. Sadly, this one doesn't. I stop right there. I'm like, nope. But hey, Wargaming decides to give me a consolation prize and give me overpin. All right, the Fuso is up there. So we wait for the shells to reload and we try and do it again. But this time we're going to try and hit the Pensacola because he's not paying attention to us. I think I shot too low in that shot though. Yeah, but sadly he keeps running away and nothing actually hits him. Bad luck. The Acosta shows up in B, which I'm not sure why he wasn't in there in the first place, but it sadly spooks our Farragut into stopping into leaving the cap and resetting it, which is a bit annoying. New Mexico wants my ass, and he gets me in the bow a little bit, but we're not doing too bad so far. 6,000 I'd rather not take, but it's not terrible. The Omaha is stopping. He's going to probably start reversing, so I do right midship. And I only get one pin. No Citadel. Sad. Luckily C-cap is going well, so is B-cap. And I need to go help them with A to make sure that the battleships stay away. There we go. The Omaha dies, thankfully, and our Pensacola gets a first blood. New Mexico is going broadside to me, which he shouldn't be doing. And I try and teach him why he shouldn't be. But sadly, he's only going like at half to a quarter speed, to three-quarter speed or something, so I overshot him. And I try and find a new target because he saw me try and shoot him, and he's probably going to angle in towards me. But oddly enough, he kind of doesn't. There we go. We get some more shots on him, and then I start trying to turn forward again because this is a BB duel. This is currently a BB duel against two battleships. Maybe even one more over there. Yep, the Normandy's coming too. So in order to survive this, I need to be bow on to give myself the smallest profile possible for them to shoot at, and to make sure that they can't Citadel me, otherwise I'm going to melt in a hurry, especially with that Fuso coming in. Fuso ain't a good brawler, but he can easily open me up to someone else shooting at me. New Mexico's slowing down again, so I adjust my shots. Sadly, most of them shatter. But the rest of our guys get a pretty good hit, so he's currently only at 14k left. We need to get his guns out of the fight, otherwise I'm kind of stuck in this position, which is why I'm going half speed now, is because I don't want to advance too quickly on that Fuso, because that will open me up to either A, brawling with them, or B, open me up to being shot by the Normandy or the New Mexico. And I want to put that off as long as possible, at least until the New Mexico is dead. New Mexico decides he's had enough and tries to turn away, and that's what I was waiting for. Apparently the rest of our team was too. Sadly, it only gives me 1 pin. Yep, we're still going half speed. We try and get our second guns there to pick up the kill, finish him off. But I see that our other battleship has shots on him, so I decided to try shooting at the Fuso instead. Sadly, only 1 superstructure hit. And that's an overpin. I know I gave way too much broadside there. I shouldn't have done that. That was a terrible idea. Luckily, he can't get his guns around in time, and I correct and have him shoot my armor belt instead, and he does very little damage comparatively. And I get 3 pins on him, which is actually quite a bit of damage, especially since Fuso doesn't have that great armor. The Normandy overestimates my speed, which is why I was going half to 3/4, so he would do that. Normandy tries to turn. I get shots on him. I spend some time aiming and then get ready to turn again. Sadly, he's also going through half to 3/4, so I don't get any shots on him. So we're doing pretty good. They have 5 dead, we only have 2 dead, and that Leander's about to be dead, either by me or someone else. Yep, we do a blind shot around the island. But sadly the Budione picks it up, so now we're in a bit more of a brawling situation. The Pensacola's guns are actually pretty big. And Normandy is a pretty decent battleship too. So we can go ahead and speed up a little bit because I don't want that Normandy to be too far away. I want to be able to accurately shoot at him. And now at this point I'm kind of forced to switch sides on my guns because otherwise I'll run to these islands. And regardless, as you can see right here, we're past the caps. Right now we just have to hold the caps, so I'm actually a bit overextended. So now the problem is trying to find a safe time to actually turn around. Luckily we get 2 pins on the Normandy, and now he's kind of forced to actually go into me because of that island. But while my guns are pointed that way, I want to have them in position to shoot that DD. But he disappears. Luckily the Normandy tries to take the corner too hard and actually beaches himself. So we try and go midship, shoot, and see if we get something nice. No Citadel, but 5 pins is pretty nice, I'd say. Now we're at half health, so I'm taking more damage than I'd like. I look to see whose torps they are. Luckily it's our allies. Because I'm paranoid with that Costa over there, he's probably going to try and torp me once he takes the cap. So we start advancing at half speed again because once again I don't want to get too close because then it's more likely he's going to get through my bow. And see, he overestimates how fast I'm going, so he actually shoots in front of me because I'm only going half speed. 3 more pins on him, he's going down, and he's dead now. So I start my turn out. Because at this point, I still have 4 heals, and if I don't survive long enough to use them, that'd be a waste. So I decided to get 1 final shot on that New York as I'm turning away. And I speed up to make sure that I can actually complete the turn before he can actually reload his guns. And luckily I get a surprise Citadel in one of the turrets, which I'm perfectly fine with. I like surprise Citadels. And since I did get the Citadel and my heal is up, I decide, you know what, we're not turning away this time, we're going to go back in and finish him off. That one I wasn't angled as much as I should have, and I actually take a pin on the belt. I should have been angled a little bit more. He starts healing, but luckily he has some HE spam coming his way, and I think he just put out a fire. We get our full broadside on him, and we get our Citadel, and down he goes. Now we're at 6-4, so that's pretty good. We still need to take that cap, though. So I turn around and get ready to go into B to help out our guys a bit. I am worried about this, though, because there are 2 destroyers around that I don't know the location of. And our DD was going battleship hunting, I guess, because he's really out of position down here, which is unfortunate. So we try and get some of those famous Pensacola sits. Sadly, no joy. So I turn around behind this island because I want time to get another heal off. because 2,200 is, or 22,000 is a pretty decent HP chunk for a Arizona, but I want a little more than that. I want to be careful because that cost is still there. Who's over there? That's the Bagione, that's what it was.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Luckily, this is not the next patch yet, so we still get full pins on DDs. So I pop around the corner and I wait for him to try to escape. Like that. Spread the shells out over a bit so I can actually hit him. There we go, we get 3 overpins. Yeah, I think he just caught on fire. There we go. We activate another heal, so we're going to get close to half health again. There we go. The fire burns down the Bagione. Pensacola keeps shooting at me, but luckily, when I'm not distracted, then he's no match for me in a gunfight. Yep, and there's the Shinome. Shinonome. Sounds, I don't know. So yep, we wait for him to turn out too, and we spread out the shells a bit. And there we go, full pin. And down he goes. Now there's only the Pensacola and the Fuso. And we actually haven't seen the Fuso in a long friggin' time, so I'm wondering where the hell he is. Fuso isn't easy to hide. And yep, he's way over there out of position. Here comes the Torps. They're actually aimed at the Bagione rather than me. And sadly, they actually do hit. So I decided to slow down a bit, because I don't really want to kill the Pensacola yet. I want to get this lovely Cappy XP. But when he does pop up, I do have my AP loaded. So yep, we're not shooting yet. We're waiting for the cap. There we go, now we can shoot. Once he shows back up. There we go, he's turning. So what you do is you wait for him to commit to the turn. And sadly he doesn't actually commit to the turn. He's currently angled to us, or where we are. So I'll go ahead and fire and see if I can pick something off, but he's probably going to turn in. But nope, turns out my aim's just bad. That's fine. We'll just have to wait for the shells to reload and try again. And I keep my guns pointed that way because I want to give him threat. Because see the Torps there that are currently going for him, I don't want him to actually turn out to avoid them. I want to be here and making sure that he can't go broadside without getting blown up, so he'll hopefully get hit by the Torps. There we go. Pin, and we could pick up a Confederate medal. But sadly the Torps run out of steam before they reach him, which is really annoying. Luckily our Pensacola finishes him off, and now it's just time to go rack up some damage on the Fuso. And keep in mind, with all these pins I've racked up 105k damage, and for a tier 6 battleship that fires as slowly as the Arizona, it's actually a really good damage number, I find. Yep, now I'm just going to farm a little extra damage on the Fuso before the game ends. I briefly consider going for the cap, but I can't. I just want to get a little extra damage. So I'll go ahead and let the Pensacola do it. And he's angled away from me, so I switch to HE, and of course as soon as I load HE, he decides to go broadside. Which is really annoying. Yeah, we're both really slow, so this is just kind of a shooting match and see who gets more pins. And finally we win.